Hello, everyone, and welcome to Season 2 of the World with Nate podcast. This podcast was created to shed light on some of the stories and lessons that we accrued during our time here. My hope is that those stories will bring us all together in this thing that we all call life. My hope for this podcast episode is that you find it both enlightening and enjoyable. So, sit back and relax. I want you to enjoy the ride. Special thanks to my friend Buck Kern of Hawkeye Storage and Consulting for helping me bring Season 2 of The World with Nate to YouTube. Just give me 1 second. It won't take long. These boots last made their appearance at a Tim McGraw concert.
The Tim McGraw concert
in Utah.
There you go.
So for those friends who are close to me, they know exactly what that means.
They know exactly what it's all about.
And for the PETA people out there or whoever, I am pretty sure these are fake. But they look cool.
Okay, just don't read the tag.
No, I won't read the tag. Hopefully it's made in America. So, hello everyone. Welcome back to Season 2, our last episode of Season 2 for this year. And I had to make it special, hence the boots. I'm speaking to Georgette, and Georgette is a cowgirl. And she has a horse, and I thought, what a perfect opportunity to speak to somebody who's doing something unique and chasing her passion. So, Georgette, welcome to the podcast.
I'm glad to be here. I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm super excited to get into detail. So I've been following you for a while. We have a mutual friend, and you work at that establishment, and we'll get into all that.
Yeah.
But it just strikes me as so amazing that somebody in today's world can chase their passion against all the odds, and that's what I got from you. So
yeah, for sure.
Welcome to the world with Nate.
Thanks.
So you're living your dream, and this
am.
dream to you, I want to hear what it's from somebody in the shoes and not fake boots.
Yeah.
What the definition of cowgirl is to you?
So that was the first question that you sent. That was on the list, and I mean, it took me a good 45 minutes to think about it because I was like, "There's several ways to answer that question." And most people, you'll hear the term "buckle bunny" in the rodeo community, which is somebody that goes and buys all the clothes.
So me,
the non PETA boots, and will just go to rodeos and dress the part. And so there's that. There's somebody that is out on the ranch roping. They're doing all the stuff, doing all the real cowboy nitty gritty.
All right.
But then for me personally, my definition of a cowgirl or cowboy is it's a personality.
Hell yeah.
So a huge, my friend Marissa, she just started riding in the Western saddle this year.
I like it.
But I would say she's been a cowgirl her whole life just because of her personality. For me, a cowgirl is somebody that knows how to get down in the nitty gritty when the rubber meets the road and it's hard and you can keep pushing through. Somebody that saves the tears for behind closed doors but can go through the moment of hardships.
Oh, yeah.
And then somebody that knows how to, big thing, the core personality of a cowgirl is, can you persevere through anything?
I love it.
That's a cowgirl. That's the main stitching that holds a cowgirl together.
I'm getting goosebumps.
So that would be my definition of a cowgirl. So a girl or a boy that can persevere through anything. Yeah. So
and the horses, the cows, that's all just extra.
That's just that comes with the package.
Hell yeah. So what was your initial entry into this? We had spoke off camera. I have 2 little girls, and they have dreams of having horses in our backyard in the town, which can't happen.
Yeah.
What was your experience like as a kid? Your first memories?
How did I get into it? So I was 3 years old, and my parents lived in Davenport, Iowa, just Davenport in a small house.
In town?
In town, yeah. My mom grew up doing horses. She trained her own. She did 4-H with them. She did it all on her own. She married my dad. They moved into town. And I remember my first core memory of getting into horses was I asked my mom what her favorite animal was. She was like, well, horses. And then ever since then, I would lope around like one, get on my hands and knees like one, neigh all the time like one. And so I did that and collected the toy horses and stuff like that till I was 8 when we finally moved out to the country. And we got our first.
Briar?
Yeah, the little Briar horses, yeah.
I had all
so you know your stuff.
Yeah, I know a little bit.
But we moved out to the country and we got our first horse, and I remember the first morning that he was home, I was so excited. So I ran out to the barn to go look, and he was gone.
Your horse.
My horse was gone. And Mom had gotten a cup of coffee and saddled him and rode down the road at like 5 o'clock in the morning.
And you didn't even know?
I didn't know because she was so itchy for it, just like I was.
That is awesome.
And I mean, ever since then, that's how I got into horses, which then led into me getting into rodeo about the age 13. I was at a 4-H event, and a girl that I was competing against also rodeoed. This was before I had, and she came up to me at the very end of the show and was like, "Have you ever thought about doing Iowa Junior High School rodeo?"
Okay.
I looked at her. I was like, "You what? You think I can rodeo?" She was like, "Oh yeah." She's like, "You got what it takes." I just started crying.
Wow.
Like I started bawling my eyes out because I just didn't see myself as rodeo, because I see those girls in those pens and I'm like, these girls are badass. Like they're out there doing all this heavy stuff, and I didn't think I was cut from that cloth.
Right. Wow.
And so the fact that she saw me and was like, "Oh yeah, you should totally get into rodeo." I was like, "Oh, okay."
Wanted you to be part of the team.
Yeah, wanted me to be a part of that culture. So I did. And then that fall, I signed up and I started rodeoing, and ever since then, it's just been rodeo. So you
signed up. What does that look like?
So
what are the opportunities, I guess, at that age?
So for getting into rodeo, there's different associations that you can be a part of. So when you see rodeos here at the McElroy or the Hippodome, I guess now, it's not always the same rodeo people at that one. So there's different associations you can be a part of, kind of like clubs, I guess. And so there's several in Iowa. Like, it's a very niche kind of group. You don't really, you could be sitting next to somebody at any restaurant that's dressed like a normal person, and they could very much rodeo. Yeah. And you would never know. Right. Like, it's a very much backdoor kind of thing, especially for the Midwest and Iowa. Yeah. It's very, especially for Iowa, it's very small.
You are the only person I really know associated with rodeo.
That you know of.
That I know of.
We're like
right.
Batman.
I know, secretly hiding.
Yeah. So there's like different associations, so you just have to, basically it's sign up and get a permit, or sign up and get a membership card, and then once you have that, you're in. And
then how do you learn the skills?
Like, again, I said, like, my family, I'm first generation rodeo, right? Is what I am. So,
but horse people, to be fair.
But horse people, yeah. So, I barrel race. That's my main event. So, and I know a little bit of roping, not enough that I would compete in it, not that good. But my youngest sister, Riley Roseke, she breakaway ropes, and you just literally decide, I'm going to do this. You pick up the rope and you start learning. Yeah. And it's just repetition. And eventually you compete. Man. And eventually, I think she's been doing it now for 2 years. And this year was her first year actually competing. But it's taken her 2 years to get her arm strength. Yeah. To get her aim down.
There's a lot that goes into it, right? There's a lot that goes into it. Timing and the horse, and you have to.
It's a lot of melody that goes into it.
Yeah. It really, I'm sure is.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So you're young and starting this stuff. What are the opportunities like for mentor? What's the rodeo culture like? You're this young little girl coming into an adult business. Mm-hmm.
I guess like the culture with rodeo and the mentors that you can have in it. Rodeo is definitely a family. Like, it's not one person out for themselves. Like, if you have a question, you can go up to any other rodeo athlete and be like, "Hey, I don't know what to do. Like, this is what's going on with my horse," or "I have never seen this before. Like, can you inform me or educate me on this subject or question I have?" And I have seen people literally stop everything they're doing to look at you and discuss something with you, and that's more the culture. It's very family oriented, whether you're blood or not. Right. If you're in rodeo, we're cut from the same cloth, we're the same breed. We're our own band of brothers here, so. Even though we're competing against each other, we're mostly competing against a clock more than we are against each other.
That's a cool sentiment to hear.
Yeah.
And it's the right mind frame, Like, you're going through so many of those experiences with other people, and to stack yourself against them doesn't make as much sense as to use them.
It's not. Yeah.
So your first competition was barrel racing?
Yes.
As a the young?
For rodeo, for barrel racing was.
You hop on the horse. Explain that situation.
So it's a clover leaf pattern. So you can go either to the left or right barrel first.
It's your choice?
It's your choice.
You and the horse, whatever you decide.
Whatever they're most comfortable with, because majority of horses are left-handed. The opposite of humans. So you would want to go to the right barrel first so you have 2 left turns. It's easiest for them. So, so that's there's your cool fact about horses for the day.
Wow.
Most of them are left-handed. So you do a clover leaf pattern. You'll go to your right or left barrel first. I can't really explain. You have to like really see the pattern.
And I'll share pictures of all that for people.
Good. And so, and then you make your run and you cross the timer once, cross the timer twice, your run's complete, and they give you your time.
And you're racing against other people's times.
Yes.
Who can do that the fastest.
Yep.
When you hit a barrel, is that?
It depends on the place. So usually jackpots, so those are just barrel racing events.
Okay.
If you hit a barrel, it's disqualification.
Okay, because that's premium.
There's money involved. Like there's like big money involved, like $1,000 added money kind of thing. And it's just barrel racing. So, and usually there's like 50 to 60 minimum competitors at those events. So that really narrows it down.
Yeah.
Like really gets it down to like the few.
These people are here to grind.
Yeah. And then rodeo, it's 5-second penalty. So there's still 40, 60 runners at these events, but now it's just like 5-second penalty, because with rodeo, what if everybody that night knocks a barrel?
Right.
They still
need to have a winner.
They still need to have winners. So the top 5, top 3 will win the checks.
Yeah.
Now, like at jackpots, it's split into half seconds. There's a lot of different like rules with that. That's why I go more barrel racing rodeo, because it literally comes down to the top 5 of who's the best out of 60. So,
which is super cool.
It's intense.
So when you select your horse for this event, is that there's barrel racing horses that are bred
bloodlines, for this. And so it really comes down to like the rider. Like the second oldest, Georgette Roseke, is my sister. She is more of your kind of rider that can quiet any horse down. She can take the most wound up horse and just calm them. I am the opposite. I am what you would call an electric booty. As soon as I sit in the saddle, that horse is up. Let's go.
Do you think that has anything to do with personality?
Oh, everything. Okay. Everything. So, it's like she can bring one down. Like
they feed,
and
maybe.
They feed off of your energy.
Huh.
Yeah. They can hear your heartbeat from 4 feet away.
Wow.
Horses can. Yeah, that's how sensitive they are to things. So, I mean, I get up there, they feel everything.
The second you walk into the barn,
they're like, she's here, she's here. Yeah.
That is awesome.
They,
what magnificent beasts,
they are. Yeah, they really are. Yeah. So, like mine, I try to pick horses that are bred kind of cross with like running bred, which are the horses that are already wound up, bred to be wound.
Okay. So tight turn suckers.
Yeah. And crossed with horses that are more, relaxed. So that way it's kind of
even keel, maybe.
Even keel a little bit. But my sister, she wants them where they're like spunky all the way, because my sister can climb on my horse that's, I think, pretty wound up, and she'll be like, this thing is a deadhead.
Turns it down.
Yeah. She's like, he don't even want to move. And I'm like, well, he wants to move for me, so I don't know what you're doing, But
that's awesome.
It's just the different types of riding disciplines. You really got to know yourself before you start buying a horse, before you start looking into that, knowing what's my personality type. Now I got to find a horse.
An honest assessment, not what you want to be.
Not what you want to be. Unfortunately, because I would love to own a full running bred horse. Like, I'd be like, oh, yeah, all these things, but I know, for myself, I really need to have a horse with a very logical thinking brain, a horse that's not reactive.
To complement.
Compromise more for what I,
you said
for what I am. So,
but
that's how I would choose my horse to compete on. So
hell yeah, and it's different for every person.
And it's different for every person. There's no one cut dry way to do it.
So when you're saying competing in the rodeo, I've been to tons of rodeos.
Mm-hmm.
The most familiar one maybe is Edgewood Rodeo. Are you familiar with that one?
No. I know Edgewood.
Okay. Yeah. So they have I don't know. So when you're saying amateur or professional, is it all the same? Who's entering these? So there's different ones. So for myself right now, I would be just your like local amateur. Okay. So for when you go to like PRCA or W. And I'm familiar with some of those, yeah.
So those ones are, you have to have a permit to even compete in those. Like you have to apply, get your permit, and then your permit, you have to be on that until you win $1,000 at those rodeos. And then after you win $1,000 on that permit, then you get your pro card.
Gotcha.
Now you're a licensed
Gotcha.
professional athlete.
Gotcha.
Like you have
So there is a
actual
buy-in process.
Yeah,
Or not a buy-in,
but like you have to prove yourself.
Yeah.
Like nobody can just call themselves a professional.
Right.
Like even it's like I've made money rodeoing.
Yes.
So you would say, oh, she's a professional
Right.
because she's made money doing it. No, because
Right.
because it's luck of the draw.
Some nights, maybe.
Some nights,
Yeah.
If I'm the only one that didn't knock a barrel, well, of course I'm winning because
Yeah.
I didn't knock a barrel. But with PRC and WPRA, it's
Proven winners.
you got to prove yourself. You got
Hell
to
yeah.
win an X amount under a permit to even get your pro card.
So that keeps the standard pretty high.
Yeah, it keeps a very high standard.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Do you have aspirations, goals for that someday?
Yeah, I would love to be able to, WPRA, which for anyone that doesn't know, that's Women's Pro Rodeo Association.
Yes.
So, but yeah, one day I'd like to do that. That is
in
my
the
ultimate
cards.
goal. Yeah, it's in the cards.
Hell
and
yeah.
I have a horse the horse I have right now, I think he's got what it takes. It's just making sure I am taking the proper steps to not burn him out before then
Yeah.
and making sure I don't burn myself out before
Yeah.
then.
Yeah.
Being able to know when to take a big bite and know when to take little nibbles, that's a huge, huge part of it. And being like, I could do this now, but it'll be a lot harder to do it now. So if I take smaller steps
Hell
and,
yeah.
And get there, then it's,
Yeah.
But
If the end result is X, and either way you're going to make it.
yeah, either way we're making
Yeah.
it.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great sentiment to anybody, not just rodeo,
Yeah,
in life.
for sure.
Take the nibbles, make sure you understand it. When you do, let her fucking rip.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. Yep.
So
Yep.
what's it look like right now for you, rodeoing?
So I run under about 2 associations right now, IRCA, which is Iowa Rodeo Cowboy Association,
Okay.
and then Rogue Rodeo
Okay.
is another one I run under. And for anybody wanting to start getting into rodeo, and they want a nice, comfortable environment that's not super intense,
Yeah.
but is extremely welcoming, I highly recommend Rogue Rodeo Production.
Hell yeah.
They are very, very family oriented. Stephanie Allgood is who runs it,
Okay.
and her kids will literally be right there in the chutes,
Hell yeah.
helping with.
Family?
Yeah, very family oriented.
Yeah.
So if your kids are running around, nobody cares.
Right.
It's we're here to raise babies.
Right.
It's for the next generation.
Next rodeo people.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
so that's really really what's the real core, the blood that pumps through Rogue Rodeo Production that
That's
I
cool
love.
to hear. Is that a local thing?
Yeah, they're Iowa based. They do Minnesota and Missouri sometimes as well. So yeah, they're very much Midwest based.
Very
and then
cool.
IRCA is as well. They're just a lot more intense. There's a lot more competitors there, and a lot of those people probably have their pro permits and pro cards.
Competition might be a little bit higher.
Yeah.
Yeah, different experience.
Yeah,
Depends
different
on what you're looking for, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yep. So those are the 2 associations I run under right now, and have been for 2 years now.
Okay.
So last year was my first real big year competing with my horse because he's only 5.
Okay.
So he's new to this.
So he's only 5. Not being a horse person.
So you really don't want to start running them till they're 3 or 4.
And what's the reasoning behind that?
Their legs. You want to make sure that their bones are all closed up and
Okay.
that they're able to handle the physical workload that will be demanded of them.
Smashing their hooves.
Stopping
chasing.
suddenly, chasing calves, that kind of thing. You want to make sure they're healthy enough
They're
to
out of
handle.
their adolescence.
Yeah.
Okay.
You want to make sure that they're able to handle, the
The
high
workload,
expectations.
too.
Yeah.
I'm sure. Well, we talked 8 Seconds was
Yeah.
my favorite movie growing up.
Yep.
And the guys pile in the Cadillac and they're off to the next rodeo.
Yep.
And
Every rodeo person loves 8 Seconds. Like I said off camera earlier, it's the Notebook romance movie for rodeo people.
Yeah.
I
I grew up with it on replay.
No, I'm sure.
I was
I did
tough
too.
Tiedemann. I was
Yeah.
in my living room.
Yeah, that was my ultimate dream. Was I'm gonna marry a bull rider someday.
Yeah.
Then I realized that I'm never gonna
Might
be a
not
bull
be.
rider's first love. Bull riding's their first love, and that's you
awesome.
just gotta know if you're gonna date. I'm sure there's some high school girls that might listen to this.
Yeah.
If you're gonna date a bull rider, honey, just know
bull riding's
the
first,
bull
and-
riding's first, and then maybe your second. We'll see. It depends on how they rode.
That's funny. That's funny.
Yep.
So, that was one of my favorites. But, the nonstop go.
Oh, it's
the
constant.
second it's done, you're on to the new adventure, right?
I think in July last year I had 27 rodeos.
Holy shit.
Out of 31 days, I think
Wow.
was in July. Yeah.
Didn't stop.
No, it didn't stop. No, you kept going.
And you have to be seen, right? I imagine to get a foothold inside of these communities, there's people that dedicate, they're just on the road.
They're just on the road.
Forever.
Yeah, that's all they do. And a big thing, a lot of these, so like I know one family, they just live out of their truck and trailer.
All the time.
And if they're not, in, like right now it's down season for Iowa, they're down in Oklahoma rodeoing right now.
Wow.
So that way they can win money, so that way they can feed the horses and feed themselves.
Holy shit.
It's their lifestyle. And I mean,
dedicated.
Yeah, and I think any rodeo person that really does it full time will agree with me. We're just like 2 steps up from carnies. That's how we live our life.
Yeah.
I mean, it's ramen noodles, so the horses can have
good hay,
the peak supplements that they need. So it's like
there are
that.
a lot of those situations in rodeo and life like that, I'm sure.
Oh, for sure. I remember several times where I'd pull a check and I would just go, oh my God, my horse can, my horse got to eat for free this month. Like I didn't have to take that out of pocket. Like now I can put that in savings and I don't have to worry about my savings going down. And it's one of those things, rodeo,
expensive ass hobby.
It's expensive. So, I'll have people that'll tell me, like, well, I can't do it. And I'm like, well, do you want to do it? Like, yeah. I want to do it. And I'm like, well, then get rid of your iPhone.
Yeah. Are you willing to do that?
Are you willing to do that? Like, sorry.
Goosebumps.
Like, I bought a pair of boots that have holes on the bottom of them still. Like, and I will wear these boots for 3 years. And I won't go out and get the new Ariats that just came out. Or I won't, and, I remember this year I just bought Wranglers for the first time, and I didn't even buy them at full cost. I went to a clearance outlet store to get them. Nobody needs to know that.
I appreciate your authenticity.
Yeah, I'm like, the Wranglers I have on right now, I bought them for $9 on the clearance rack because I wanted Wranglers, but for years, I had just gone to Goodwill to shop because I knew I wanted a rodeo.
You wanted to put your money in chasing that dream.
Yeah, and rodeo entry fees aren't cheap. Horses aren't cheap,
what's the average month to feed these freaking things?
So it completely depends. Like, if you're just wanting to get into horses, I would say like $400 a month. Yeah. That's just for pasture board.
Minimum.
That's bare minimum. Like, I would say $400
And that's probably a deal.
Yeah. That's pretty good.
I know how much it costs to feed little children.
Yeah.
let alone a freaking horse.
Yeah. So I'd say $400 a month minimum, but I know for mine with them.
Then you were saying supplementation.
Yeah.
With food and training.
Everything, yeah. So, it fluctuates because during rodeo season, cost goes up because now I need to be
gasoline too.
Gasoline, all of it. So, in the winter, I'll do it wintertime. We'll do that.
Okay, so make people
wintertime for 2 horses that I have, it costs me on average $900 to $1,000 a month for my 2. That's with hay, that's with the supplements, and that's just with like a little extra on top for like vet bills maybe.
And other stuff comes up, right?
Yeah,
like
farrier
shit
costs,
all the time comes up.
Yeah, all that kind of stuff. So.
Farrier cost.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
So, you have to pay to have their hooves trimmed or put shoes on.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm
a lot of horse people don't.
Yeah. So
let's get into it.
Yeah. So I'm a farrier. That means horse trimmer, horseshoer.
Okay, horseshoer.
Yeah. So.
And what did that process look like for you?
To get into it.
Yeah.
I knew I wanted a career with horses.
Okay.
Whether that be training, being a vet, being a farrier. I wasn't really sure which route I would take, but I knew I didn't want the debt of a vet. Yeah. And I didn't want to deal with people when it came to horse training. Okay. So I was like, well, those 2 routes are not happening.
That leaves you a farrier.
Yeah, it leaves me horseshoeing. So I was like, well, I'm going to give it my best shot. So I saved up for 2 years so I could keep rodeoing.
While you're saving.
While I'm saving. And I saved, and I went down to Oklahoma State Horseshoeing School and took a 6-week program to learn how to shoe horses. And
Oklahoma State.
Yeah, Oklahoma State. Yeah.
Went all the way down there.
Yeah. They're the best, one of the best horseshoeing schools in the nation.
Hell yeah.
So
that's where you chose to go. Mm-hmm. That's where you choose to get your education.
Yeah, yes.
Hell yeah.
Yep. So went there, 6-week program, and I knew going down, I was like, all right, well, we'll know if this is for me within like the first week. I'll know. Like,
you thought that?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was like, so I went down within the first week. I was like, hell yeah.
This is it.
This is it. I love this.
Yeah. Wow. That is so encouraging.
Yeah. It was what I wanted, and it was hard. Like, I've known mental game my whole life of having to push through some hard things, and having to buckle down and just, again, cowgirl, persevere through it.
Yeah.
But this was a whole new level because I'm a very emotional person naturally.
Okay.
And like we've said, like horses can feel everything from you. So being underneath of them and having your torso right along their torso where both your hearts are just feet away from each other.
Yeah.
That, I mean, and they're nervous because you're pounding and scraping on their feet, and they're like, what are you doing?
Right.
You know? And
they don't know.
They don't know me because I'm just some stranger that walked up to them to start
picking at their hoof.
Learning. I'm also learning in this process,
Yeah.
you know, so I'm not doing anything perfect. It was intense. I remember my instructors telling me one day, because I had to put a horse foot down and I had to walk away, and I was like starting to tear up because I was getting so frustrated. I was like, oh my God, I can't figure this out. Like I'm getting mad, like, because I want to be able to do a good job, because like I said, like
saved up for 2 years.
Saving up 2 years.
Traveled all the way down there.
And I'm gonna do this. Like there's no other way. Like this is it. I got 6 weeks to get this right.
Backed into a wall.
I'm like, this is gonna happen. Like it has to.
Yeah.
There's no plan B.
Right.
There's no plan B. So it's kind of like maybe the frustration was coming out of fear of like, you got to get your shit together and figure this out. And my instructors down at school knew that, because we had a lot of personal conversations, very intimate conversations about my career choice and then like what my lifestyle was like at the time.
Yeah.
And they were like, listen, you got to get a grip. You got to get your emotions in check. You got to center yourself. They're like, I want you to literally think there's a line drawn through your body and just stay on that line while you're trimming. I'm like, okay, sounds good. And this horse would be tugging me to shit. Tugging me this way, throwing me against that wall, throwing me on the ground.
Yeah,
and I'm
animal.
just having to like not show any sign of any emotion and just, it's fine. It's okay. This is okay. This is fine. This is
what
fine.
A lesson. What a lesson. Getting tossed around by that thing.
Yeah, like having to literally get the shit kicked out of you and then not
literally
react, not get frustrated, not throw fists back, just handle. I remember one time at school, I had gotten kicked in both my thighs by a chestnut mare. That mare is a female horse.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Nobody, well, what?
No, it's a mare.
How much weight is this horse? Hundreds of pounds?
They're average about 1,000 to like 1,100 pounds. About.
That could, if it hits you wrong, it can kill you.
Oh, yeah, for sure. If you get kicked in the head or kicked in the chest just right, it'll take you out. I mean, no questions asked.
Is that something you ever even think about while you're there?
After this time, it was, like, because I had never been kicked before. Even with my own personal horses, I had never been kicked before. I had just walked around with pure confidence, you know, and this mare, she kicked me in both my thighs, and I remember...
How did it happen? Give me the...
I was doing the hind legs,
okay,
and so I had her up in my lap, and she snatched away from me, and she popped right in the side of the thigh. And... Faster than what I was expecting, because I'm, again, walking around with pure confidence. Because
of your experience.
Yeah, because of my experience with horses so far. I have nothing to be scared of, you know? And she caught me at the right time and popped me in both thighs, like, because I went down to try again. She got me in the other one. I'm like, oh, you got to be kidding.
Dang. And you can't react because they sense that too, then.
Yep, so I got to stay dead inside, basically, just no feelings.
Yeah.
And I remember my instructor coming up to me because I was like, I'm not going back down there.
To get kicked a third time.
I'm just going to get kicked a third time. And he's like, yeah, it's fine. Like, it's okay. Like, here, I'll help you. We'll get your confidence back. And I had to learn to hold him a different way in order to manipulate the joints and the leg so it wouldn't snatch from me again. And
a lesson.
And having to, like, learn. Now I'm learning how to center fear. Now I have done frustration, but now I'm having to learn how to persevere fear of not, you know, this job has to be done.
Yeah.
Even though I'm physically scared, you know, like, scared I'm going to get hurt physically.
You can't let that leak in.
I can't let that leak into what I'm doing.
Hell yeah.
You know, I got to get past the moment, you know.
Past the moment. Mm-hmm. Wow, there's a lot of similarities with what you just said.
Yeah.
My time in the military, holy cow.
Yeah.
Yeah, and everybody, you know, scary shit happens.
Yeah, it can.
You got to stay centered or you're not going to make it through that kind of stuff.
Yeah, got to stay centered to make it through. Have to.
Balancing, you said this was your, you know, bucket list thing. No way out, no plan B.
No plan B.
What was your life like at that point in time?
So I had...
Job, relationship.
So I had been married at the time, and he's a great guy.
Okay.
He's a wonderful man. And we just, you know, two different people.
Okay.
So we ended up getting a divorce, and we have a beautiful 5-year-old son. And it was scary because I'm like, okay, like there's no plan B. I got to go to school, and I got to come back to Iowa, and I got to make this work because this is what's going to be paying the bills, you know. And I had been, working warehouse jobs. No one wants to work a warehouse job for the rest of their life.
Been there, done it.
Yeah, like that's just not what we, as little kids, we don't, grow up thinking, oh, I'm going to be a warehouse worker when I grow up. We want to be astronauts. We want to be,
Yeah, nothing against it.
No, nothing against it.
That was not your dream.
But no kid grows up thinking that, and I grew up thinking I'm going to race horses when I grow up, which I'm doing now, and I want to do horses. That's what my future wants horses. To be. Yeah. And, I remember many times just, breaking down in my truck, just being like, okay, this is it. Get a grip. This is it. And you've got to buckle down. You got to do whatever it takes. I remember right before I went to school, I was working 3 jobs. Jeez. Doing it. I was training horses for people just to make extra money to pay for my horses, so I didn't have to count that income. I was working a warehouse job at the Target Distribution Center.
Decent job.
Decent job. Yeah. People can use that to live on for the rest of their life.
When you don't have $1,000 worth of horses.
Yeah. And then I also, during the wintertime, helped plow snow for, my friend Eric, who owns Northern Lawn and Snow.
Very cool. Just extra way to make it work.
Yeah, and I just remember I was gone a lot. I remember my son constantly asking me, like, Mommy, I miss you. That's hard. That right there, that was the hardest part about going to school for 6 weeks, because I'm in Oklahoma away from my family for 6 weeks. And that was the hardest part is, gosh, I hope he knows I'm doing this for him.
Yeah.
And that I'm not doing this out of selfish intent, but I'm doing this because I want to give you the step up that I didn't have, So, that's, I think the hardest part is the sacrifice of, all of it. Of like, I can't go out with my friends on the weekends because I'm working. Yeah. And I can't go out with my friends because I need to be home with my 5-year-old because he hasn't seen me for 12 hours or something, So different things like that. The lack of sleep, get used to having 4 hours of sleep. That, get used to that, As I call, my favorite saying is, we're living the dream off of caffeine and nicotine. That's how we're living the dream, is off caffeine and nicotine.
For now. Until we freaking make it.
Yeah. So, but yeah, that's, the lifestyle before that was just a lot of working and dreaming. Working and dreaming.
Until you took the step.
Until I took the big leap.
Saved up the money to take the leap.
Yeah, saved up the money.
It was a process, right? That needs to be said too.
Yeah,
these dreams didn't fucking happen.
No. Oh no, they didn't just happen. It was, again, it was a lot of crying, and it was a lot of sacrifice, and it was a lot of
doing,
getting up and going to work when you didn't want to, because that was another thing.
Pushing snow. That's something.
Yeah, you can't. If you go to work with the mindset of you on the brain of like, oh, I want to do this. Well, of course you don't do it because you're doing it for you. And you is not a good enough reason to chase your dreams. Like, because when you're on you, you're only going to give about, as I say, 80%.
I love it.
But you got to have a different intention when you're chasing your dreams. There's got to be a bigger purpose, a bigger reason. Yeah. Yes. So, there has to be. Like, it can't be about you, because if it is about you, it's going to crumble. You're gonna make sacrifices and compromises for yourself. I'm like, well, I don't really feel like going to work today. Yeah. It's like, no, if you got to make choices that are not on you time.
Hell yeah.
And I think, Matthew McConaughey, I think, said it, like, who's your hero? And it's me 10 years from now.
Yeah.
So I have to keep thinking, I'm like, who's me 10 years from now? Well, I want it to be this person. Yep. Okay, well, then I'm not working for my boss. I'm working for me 10 years from now.
Hell yeah.
That's who I am. I'm my own employee.
Yeah.
So that's
a great mindset to have.
Yeah, I'm working for myself.
Yeah. And it's really something to sit down, think about where you want to be, and think about those things, and think about what's required of somebody who's accomplishing those things. Yeah. You want to make $1 million, but you want to sit at your house and play Xbox.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
That's not going to happen.
Sorry.
Doing what you're doing,
No.
You're not. So that's another thing too,
Yeah.
Goals will lead you to your prize.
Yeah.
You just got to hit them, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Hell yeah. Bills is expensive. It was a family tradition. Now you're horseshoeing.
Yeah. It's great. Being able to forge steel, it's just crazy. Being able to bend a horseshoe into the shape that you want and then put it on a hoof with nails.
So what's the process look like right now? how do you get your equipment there? What's you set up?
Yeah, so most farrier rigs, they'll have like a truck with the farrier box in the back, and it's like
I saw it come to my great uncle's house.
Yeah, aluminum box, and it's got all their shoes and equipment in it. I'm running my business out of a Buick.
Hell yeah, because we're in Iowa, so it has to be a Buick.
Yeah, and
I love that.
We all start somewhere.
Absolutely.
And, I mean, a lot of my farrier buddies in Iowa, they're like, looks like me 25 years ago. And I'm like, okay, good. Georgette. Like, I don't have to be embarrassed when I pull up to a client's house and I'm in a Buick, because the real clients are going to go,
that was me.
This is determination.
Hell yeah.
Right here,
Hell
you
yeah.
know? And I got my logo on the side of my Buick, and I'm just putzing down Highway 20. Here I come.
Love it.
I mean, people are like, I think your Buick needs new shocks. I'm like, no, that's because there's like
500
pounds of equipment in the back, like anvils back there. I got like a whole thing of horseshoes back there.
That is awesome.
Yeah. So,
determination.
Yeah. It's my anvil stand sitting in the back seat with the rest of my tools, and I got car seat next to all my tools. So, yeah.
Oh, yeah. You're making it work.
Making it work.
Until we can figure out the next
step, graduate. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. That's part of life. You got to keep graduating. So.
Yeah. Keep making it. What is the last thing I'm going to ask of you?
Yeah.
What is like a fairy tale ending for you with your life? Barrel racing on the most competitive level, taking this horseshoe thing, and my fairy tale ending would be just to be able 10 years from now.
Yeah, let's go.
Let's talk to that.
10
Georgette.
years from now. 10 years from now, I would like to be able to be shoeing full time.
That's how you're paying the bills.
That's how I'm paying the bills. The bills are getting paid with horseshoeing. I'm able to have my own place, with the horses on site, and then being able to rodeo whenever I want, be able to create the schedule to be able to go where I want to rodeo, and then just be able to have I'm gonna say it. I want to have a family. Like, I want to have my little
Georgette.
cowboys and cowgirls running around the house.
Yeah.
I want to be able to have that. So I guess more modern day, Little House on the Prairie.
Hell
I guess
more
is like what we're thinking. So.
I love it.
But yeah, paying the bills with horseshoeing and rodeoing.
Your passion, your determination, the things that you're willing to do to make your dreams.
Yeah.
That's why I had to have you on the podcast.
The sacrifices you got to make, it's huge. So.
It is huge. It will make or break it, right?
It'll make or break it. Yeah, you've got to decide before you take the step. It's huge. You've got to, that's the big thing is before, I give lessons to kids sometimes, and that's a big thing that I'll tell them is, okay, this isn't going to be easy, and you're going to have to do things and put things on pause that you didn't really want to do, but putting things on pause so you can, resurrect what you really want is huge.
Be true to the things you're really dreaming about.
Yeah.
And so hyper-focused.
That's huge. Yeah. Hyper-focus.
You can't get out of here without the firing range.
Okay.
The portion. I don't want to make you too nervous. The portion.
I'm nervous.
Well, don't be. It's not that bad. Okay. Marissa helped me out with a few of those.
Okay.
This episode of The Firing Range is sponsored again by Rachel's Rosaries. Rachel Mueller, great friend. She was a past guest of the podcast. She's a top fan on Facebook. She's an awesome friend. She watches our kids. They're custom created rosaries that are awesome for gifting. Christmas is coming up, the birth time of Jesus. It would be an awesome gift for that. You can find Rachel on Facebook at Rachel's Rosaries. Thank you, Rachel, for your support of the podcast. I appreciate it. Without further ado, are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
The first one for you is, and some of these are like so obvious after us chatting.
Yeah.
Dress or jeans?
Oh, jeans.
Boots or shoes?
Boots.
Are you on time or running late?
I always am running late.
Okay,
I'm always running late, like 15 minutes late. That's just
fair.
me. I have this mindset of like, I'll give myself the exact amount of time to get there. And it's like, okay, that's not how life works.
Still wind up late.
Yeah, still wind up late.
Are you throwing hay or picking stalls?
Picking stalls.
American quarter horse or a thoroughbred?
Oh, American quarter horse.
Rodeo or work?
Rodeo.
Sleep in or an early riser?
Oh, sleep in.
Sleep
is like my savior. When I get a couple extra minutes, I'm like, we're taking those extra minutes.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
You should. Yeah. In the barn, are you playing pop music or country?
Oh, it's a mix. Oh,
It's a
you'll be
mix?
surprised.
That surprised the shit out of me.
We go from Zach Bryan to Cardi B, like that.
Wow.
Oh,
yeah, I wouldn't have expected Cardi in the barn.
No, it's all over.
Are you choosing humans or horses?
I pick my humans. I have my humans,
Okay.
and then I have horses.
That's good. And your one skill, are you going to see the future, or do you have the ability to change the past?
See the future, have the ability to change the past.
Which one would you choose to be able to do? See the future or change the past?
I feel like I'd change the past because I feel like it'd give me a step up from where I am.
That's your
now.
choice.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. I appreciate your time,
Yes,
Georgette.
awesome.
I think a lot of you, and I love that you're a modern day cowgirl.
Thanks.
Hell yeah. Special thanks to my friend Katie Hine at Mattress by Appointment, Cedar Falls, for her sponsorship of Season 2 of The World with Nate.